Assalamu alaikum, dear audience. Today we are going to discuss another addition to the summarized written text question, that is poems. And we will also discuss how the template is going to work for the poems. So let's get started. Understanding the summarized written text mechanics for poems, we need to understand that it is going to be a one single line summary for a passage, or be it a poem or a passage. So we'll see how it works for a poem. Now let's talk about the core rules and the scoring criteria for summarized written text. There is a strict format and timing allotted to this task is 10 minutes, and you will find either one or two questions of summarized written text in your particular exam. It's related to the writing module. The word limit should be between 50 to 75 words. The ideal sweet spot to attempt this question is to remain between 50 to 60 words, and you have to write it in one single sentence. Guys, you don't have to avoid using two full stops. If you use two full stops, it will be converted into two sentences ultimately. And there should be no capitalization errors, and avoid spelling mistakes or grammatical errors so that you can score full marks in this question. And then there is another thing. The format is given 1 point, grammar is given 2 points, the vocabulary is given 2 points. So this is the whole thing, and the content is given up to 4 points. In recent exams of PTE, some people reported that they have found some poems in the summarized written text task. So, why are poems challenging than the academic articles that you usually see in summarized written text? Because poetic passages rely on figurative language, metaphors, and implicit meanings spread across the stanzas. To summarize poetic text accurately, candidates must look beyond the symbolic imagery to extract the underlying literal concept, central theme, and emotional transit. For understanding a poem, you need to know how this poem theme is. Like, some poems are based on a nostalgic theme, and some are a bit of a happy vibe. So you need to classify which one of it is the vibe of the poem, and that's how you're going to attempt this question. There's a three-step strategy to decode a poem. So, number one is decode the metaphors. Translate symbolic imagery into plain literal statements. Identify what the nature and the narrative the elements represents in real life. So, we will see an example, and then let's see how we have to do it. Then isolate the key stanzas, extract the primary subject and main conflict or cause, or ultimate resolution or overarching lesson of the poem. Then plug it into the template. I'll show you an example template that can work for this, so we will check it out. Universal template for a poem can be, although it can represent the primary theme or stanza A, whatever the theme is, you should write although before it, and then the core action in stanza B, which ultimately highlights and then conclusion or the lesson. So the key connectors are although, while, main subject clause, which delivers the central driving event of the poem, which ultimately is the conclusion, or it seamlessly attaches the final takeaway without adding any second sentence. So you have to write one sentence considering this template. Step-by-step formation will be: read it, identify the central theme, skim the poem to determine whether the focus is time, nature, human emotion, or societal change. Then convert lines to keywords. Replace poetic phrases with direct academic nouns and verbs. For example, winter storm is converted into adversary. Draft within the template. I have mentioned about the template in the previous slide. You should insert the literal concept into the template clause and ensure smooth grammatical transitions between the clauses. Then finally, proofread, check for the spellings and the grammar. So let's check how it's going to work for a poem like this one. Waves crashing in storm, followed by morning light, bringing calm and renewed hope to sailors. The answer can be: even though fierce ocean storms are dangerous for sailors, daylight always returns to make navigation safe again, proving that determination can overcome tough challenges. Here, in the first sentence, as we can see, that waves crushing in storm indicates that waves can be dangerous for sailors. And then the next line is followed by morning light, bringing calm and renewed hope to sailors. So that can be interpreted in the form: daylight always returns to make navigation safe again. By calm, we mean that navigation becomes safe for the travel, and proving that determination can overcome any tough challenges for the sailors. For this particular poem, I have given a comparison of two answers, why one is considered incorrect and the other one is considered correct. Now let's find out. Golden leaves drift through the silent air, a chilling wind announces winter's threat. Though trees stand bare against the darkening sky, deep roots hold firm until the spring returns. In the first answer, the student has not explained or paraphrased this particular poem. He has written the same text all over again and also in two different sentences. The whole point of the summary is to write it in one single line and separate it with the connectors and commas. So this is incorrect for a number of reasons. One, there are two separate sentences, and number two, there's no paraphrasing. And the student B answer is correct because it is explained what is meant by this poem. Although seasonal changes cause harsh environmental deterioration, underlying botanical systems preserve vital strength, which ultimately highlights a natural resilience during adverse conditions. So the deep roots indicate that it has nature holds resilience until the spring returns. It shows that it has perfect form because at the end you see there's only one full stop and the different ideas are separated by the help of commas, and the academic vocabulary is very relevant to the text provided in the poem. If you have any questions relevant to this, you can email me on my email ID mentioned in the description. And thank you for reaching the end of this video.